forward here. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to help you guys. I pulled this off of something, then modified it a little bit, but I'm giving credit to Andy Andrews, who's a best author, kind of best-selling author. And it's really helping you guys develop. We talked about this last time. Now we're going to get into the nuts and the bolts of developing a personal mission statement. Okay. So what I want to do today is I'm going to walk you through some steps and things you can do, and that this could obviously pass on to other team members as they come in. But is what process can you go through? Because I'm going to have you guys actually do this and go through the exercise to develop your own personal mission statement. Okay. And the first thing that's really important to understand is that and this probably is very critical, a personal mission statement creates boundaries. Okay. Now, I want you to think in terms of everything that comes within underneath the guise of this personal mission statement that you set is going to be like your investments of time, money, and relationships. Okay. It should all fit within the confines of this truncated but powerful mission statement that you develop. Okay. And I want you to think in terms of this is your best no friend. Okay. So, your part of your job as a leader is to really learn what to say no to. You have to really have a clear idea in what it is you're saying yes to based on your personal mission statement. Okay. And so a personal mission statement that sets clear boundaries is the number one tool for making tough decisions. Okay. So it's this decision tool that allows you to avoid fatigue and wasted time. Think about how much time you spent wasting trying to figure out a decision. Do we do this? Do we do that? What should we do? What should we not? And so the personal mission statement allows you to do that. Okay. And the more and more narrow I've gotten mine, the more I realize, people come in my life and it's so clear to just go, nope, no, 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 and then yes. When it comes in, I go, yep, that lines up. So that's a yes. Nope, that's a no. And it's easy to say no because you just go back to this. I was just listening to a book I'm going through right now called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. And he talked about a group that wanted to have Richard Branson come and speak, and they wanted to pay him $100,000 for an hour. And so they went through Darren Hardy and they reached out, and the team said no. They came back and said, oh, okay, let's make it $250,000. And they went back to him and he said no. And the guy was like, okay, just make it a blank check, whatever he wants. Just have him, write out the check. And he said, no. And he says, I have three main things I'm focused on right now and nothing else. So I don't care how big the check is. Wow. The answer is no. Okay. So, he's super clear on what he's trying to accomplish, and it doesn't really matter. Okay. The mission for Andy Andrews is, my mission is to help others live the lives they would if they only knew how. Okay. Pretty interesting, huh? So his mission is that everything centers around this concept, helping others live a life they could if they only knew how to do that, right? That's what he decided his mission was when all is said and done. Okay, so there's 5 questions you have to answer when you're going to go through this personal mission statement exercise that you guys are going to do over the next week. Number one, what is really important to you? What you're asking is, what are your values? So you might have to actually go through and write some of your values down, like I told you, but you have to say what is really important, and you have to think of it in terms of above all else. So you have to nail it down to maybe like one or two things, like what above everything else, what is probably the most important thing to me in my life from the value perspective. Okay. You're gonna have to really think about that. And it's going to force you to say, above all else, what is the most important thing to me? Okay. And maybe my family. So that's the first question you have to kind of answer to help you nail down what's my value system centered around. Okay. The second thing is, where do I want to go? Okay, so you could answer this in a couple of different ways, but spiritually, mentally, physical, you're trying to sort of say, there's a destination that I'm going to, and what does it look like? And here's a good way you can find out if it actually has some teeth. Number one, does it make you tingle when you read it or think about it? Does it make you sing? I wouldn't sing because that would be really terrifying. Or does it make you tear up? Okay. So just think about those things when you think about a destination that you want to go to. You're probably in the ballpark if it's making you do one of those three things. Okay. If it doesn't, and you're like, it's okay, probably not that. Okay. So you got to think about it when all is said and done. Number three is, what does the best look like for me? Okay. Just dream. What does the best possibly look like for you? This is not about being realistic. Okay. Just think about, what is the best thing that I could think that would look like for me when all is said and done. And just dream about it. Take some time to dream. Number four is, how do I want to act? So how do you want people to describe you? So think about a eulogy conversation. What do you want people to say are your eulogy? And does that have some impact on how you want to show up? Okay. So that's another way to go through asking that question. How do I want to act? And then the fifth one is, what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? So if you imagine yourself in 100 years from now, what does the impact that you did look like? They call it the butterfly effect. You're right. Just the impact that you went as you kind of landed everywhere, still touching lives. What is it that you want to have done that would be really impactful? Okay, so those are the 5 questions. What's important? Where do I want to go? What does the best look like for me? How do I want to act? And what's my legacy that I want to leave behind? Those are 5 questions that will help you kind of form this personal mission statement. Okay. And here's some tips. Keep it short, just really short. You want this to be something you can sum up in a single sentence. Okay. Don't make it a dissertation. Just, what is that? Right? Think about John Maxwell. His mission is to add value to leaders who will add value to other leaders. Pretty simple, right? But everything kind of falls around that for him. Number 2 is, don't forget about others. Okay, notice the mission statement up here. My mission is to help others live the lives they would if they only knew how. So try to make it other-centric. And the reason why is, it's actually how we're wired. You'll get the most meaning out of being other-centered in your personal mission statement. Okay, so make sure that somewhere in there, you've got others. And the other thing is, share it with most important people in your life. So talk to your spouse, talk to your mentors, run it by friends that you trust. They could provide some good insight you might not see. It's like, I always run really important stuff by Jill. I'm really pleasantly surprised about some of the things. I'm like, oh, That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that,
Mhm.
you know, so just run it by really important people in your life. And then the final one is it's okay to make changes. I've done it. I mean, just as the years go on and you get a little bit more umph under your belt, you will notice, you'll go, yeah, it doesn't, yeah. A little shaving needs to
Yeah.
happen there, right? That's not really quite accurate. And you'll get a little bit more pinpointed. They call those distinctions. As you build the genius, you get a little bit more distinguished, and have distinctions that you'll go, it's a little bit more refined like this. Okay. So just realize that you don't have to worry about it nailing it now,
Mhm.
but just you start somewhere and then it's going to morph over time as you get more and more wisdom under your belt, more experience.
Yeah.
It will happen and it'll become more, it starts fuzzy. You know, someone comes out of college, they're really fuzzy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, that's okay. And then it'll, you know, you get a little under your belt and you're like, okay, I think that's more. And it just happens over time. And you
Yeah.
have more interactions
Sure.
and you apply self-awareness activities, then it
Mm.
starts to become more clear for you as you try to grow in your personal mission. Okay. So here's a couple of examples just to give you this, and I'll give this to you guys so you can use it as you go through it. But to inspire positive change through teaching and coaching, right? That's somebody's. To create opportunities for today's youth, to encourage, engage, and equip others to believe in the possibilities, to positively impact the life of every person I meet, to encourage everyone I interact with on a daily basis, and of course, as personal was to help others live the lives they would if they only knew how to, right? Pretty powerful, simple,
Mhm.
not chaotic, but, you know, encompasses all those things we kind of talked about, okay?
Sorry.
So you pull that everything through the funnel, right? It's like, oh, no, that doesn't fit really well. And it's part of who you are, part of who you want to become, and then the purpose in your life. So comments about that, or just, yeah, questions that you have.